we doing? I'm here on a Tuesday and a Thursday every week at 8 p.m. Tuesdays are my request evenings. Thursdays are when I want to bring stories that you might not have heard of. But yeah, I'm here live every Tuesday and Thursday, like I say, 8 p.m. So it'd be great if you could join me. Also on TikTok, or if you want to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. I don't hang about too long before I start the story. I just say a quick hi to the guys in the live. Then we start the story. Don't interrupt the story, so don't think it's going to be a live where I'm chopping and changing. Once I start, I don't stop. And then I may have a chat to the guys in the live at the end. So with that being said, hi, how is everyone? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Hey Warwick, hi, how are we doing? How are we doing? How's it going? Can you hear me? Excellent, excellent. I don't know what was wrong with the mic last week. I really don't. Just make sure there's no echo or anything. I can't wear the headphones. It really hurt my ears, so thank you very much, Court. Yeah. That's what I meant. I can't do them. I find they put me off the story. They start irritating me halfway through. I wonder where Tiffy's. It's not like her. Oh, thank you, Phil. How you doing? Evening. How are we all? We had a good weekend. We all had fun. What did I do? I didn't do anything really. It was quite quiet. Just a few games of pool. But yeah, quite quiet really. Did I? Yeah, that was it. It was quite a quiet weekend. Nothing to report. I don't know where that moderator of mine looks like. Hayley's gonna have to go solo tonight because I don't know where she is. Where is she? I'll hang on a little bit. So we're gonna try again with our story tonight. Let's see how we get on. Because we just ended up having a chat, didn't we, on Thursday. So we'll try this one again, I thought, because I wanted to bring this one to you. Because I know a few of you said you hadn't heard of it, so I thought, I'm going to try again. I'm going to bring it to you. And anything... Oh, thanks, Hayley, thank you. Anything that helps me avoid... What's that one? What's that one that's been requested? Oh, God. Oh, what's her name now? There she is. Hey, sis. How you doing? Oh, I know. Mum goes mad at me as well. I know. It's habit. I say it's habit. Do you know what it is? Because I'm looking at myself. I don't do it normally. It's not a normal thing I do. So it is. It's because I'm looking at myself. I'd say hi and we'll catch you. Oh, sorry to hear that, Sharon. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon. Hope you get better soon and come back to us. I don't know if you know this one. Maybe you can catch up on it another time. I don't know. But as for messing with my hair, yeah, it's gonna be it's the fringe. I like to try and get it just like that, but it doesn't look as good as when it goes up. I agree, Phil. I was waiting for Tiff to come in. So I agree. I think we start it quick and then we can have a chat at the end. I agree with that. So, yeah. Oh, look, I'm at it. It's good. Do you know, by the end of this, it's just going to be a flop of grease down my face. That's all it's going to be. So, should we start? Should we give it a go? Should we start? Right. This one is the, like I say, to avoid doing that other one that Tiff and Hayley have asked for, and Warwick has asked for as well. I'm trying to avoid it. I'm going to do it, but I'm just avoiding it at the minute. Okay. The Unsettling Dylan Redwine Story. Okay. So if you're watching tomorrow, I'm going to start now. So, Dylan Nicholas Redwine. Okay. Born on the 6th of February 1999 in Colorado. Parents Mark Redwine and Elaine. Now, Elaine was Redwine, but after 18 years of marriage, they divorced in 2007. So Elaine is now Elaine Hatfield. He's got an older brother called Corey. There's about 7 years between those two. So Dylan, well, Dylan's described as perfect. Like, your perfect child, perfect person, perfect friend. He was just a good lad. This is how Dylan's been described. Very sweet. But saying that, he's also quite outspoken. Says what's on his mind. If he sees something wrong, he's got no qualms in speaking up about that. In school, if there was someone being treated not very well, he'd be the one who would step in to say something. So he's that kind of character. Also very funny, very honest, very caring. Just an all-round lovely lad. Now, when Elaine and Mark divorced and broke up, like I say, it was after 18 years of marriage, but it didn't end amicably. Is amicably good? Amicably is good, isn't it? So it didn't end amicably. I'm going to stick with that because I think that means it didn't end good. Oh my God, how do I not know that? I'm sure amicably means okay, doesn't it? It's like on a level. So it didn't end that way anyway. So Elaine and Mark ended up having this massive, massive row after they broke up, where Mark did get a bit violent with her. So from that point, she ended up getting a primary custody of the boys. So they end up moving like 300 miles away from Mark, and it's a whole big thing. Anyway, by the point in the story we're going to get to, Dylan is 13 and Corey at this point is now 20. So he doesn't have to see Mark anymore. He doesn't have to go and see his dad. And to be honest, he doesn't want to. He doesn't really want... oh, thank you, Phil. It does. Yeah, I thought it did, but I wasn't 100% sure. As I said it, I was like, is that a good thing? So Corey, like I say, yeah, he's not really pushed on seeing his dad. He's got no real interest in it. Whereas Dylan, he had to. He didn't have a choice. It was court ordered. He had to go and see his dad and have visitation with him. And because obviously when they divorced, they'd moved. They divorced back in 2007. They'd had a whole life in, I can tell you exactly where it is, if you bear with me. It is in Durango. And they had a whole life there. So Dylan had friends and stuff. So even though he wasn't too pushed on going to visit his dad, he could go and see his old friends and stuff. So it wasn't the end of the world to go and visit his dad. So, right, where we're going to come to. So that's sort of the background of the family themselves. So we're going to come up to now, November the 18th, 2012. All right. So like I say, at this point, Dylan is 13. All right. Now, like I say, it was court ordered that he had to go and visit his dad. And this is around Thanksgiving in America. So with the court order, I presume how it would have worked, he would have spent Thanksgiving with his dad and Christmas with his mum. That's how, because it's quite close together. So he goes to visit him, but when he gets there, he messages his friend, and his friend's called Ryan Nava, and he messages him saying, can I stay at yours tonight? So he's only just got there. There's footage of him when he gets to the airport where he's landed to go, to his visitation with his dad. And you can see Mark and Dylan walking through the airport. Now, they're not close together. It wasn't sort of this running into his dad's arms type of deal at all. But you see them walking through the airport together. And he, like I say, he messages his friend basically saying, look, I'm back. Can I stop at yours tonight? Then Ryan gets another message from Dylan that basically says, look, I can't stop at yours tonight. And to be honest, if I hadn't seen my child in a long time and they're coming for visitation, I wouldn't want them stopping out the first night they'd got there. So I suppose that part was quite understandable. So he messages his friends saying, look, I can't stop tonight, but I'll be at yours at 6:30 in the morning. Okay, so his friend just treats it as that. So then we get to November the 19th, 2012, so the next day. All right. So Elaine, she reports Dylan missing to the police in La Plata County, Colorado, in Durango. And what's actually happened is Marcus said that when he woke up that morning of the 19th, that he'd seen that Dylan was asleep on the sofa, so he must have fell asleep watching TV. He'd gone out to do a bit of shopping, come back, Dylan's not there any longer, so he's just presumed he's gone out. He's gone out to see his friends. That's kind of who he was. He would go out and meet his friends quite early. So Mark didn't think too much of it. But when time starts to go on and it starts to get to the afternoon now and he's heard nothing, we're going to early evening, he's heard nothing. He starts phoning around his friends. His friends haven't seen him, including Ryan. Now remember, Ryan was the friend he'd messaged to say, can I stop at your house? And then I can't stop, but I'm going to meet you at 6:30 tomorrow morning. Ryan hadn't seen Dylan either. So that's what sent alarm bells off in Mark's head. So he then gets in touch with Elaine saying, have you heard from him? I haven't seen him since about 7:30 this morning. And she's like, no. She panics. She phones the police. So, like I say, they're about 6 hours away. So 300 miles away, 6 hours away. So Elaine jumps straight in the car, her and Corey. They drive straight to Durango. This is a real panic. It's very, very unlike Dylan. Durango's quite a small place. He was known. Because don't forget, the whole family lived there as a family for a long time. Everyone knew he wasn't the type of lad to just up and run away, but it was still sort of a thought in the police's mind, as he had a row with Mark and he's just up and gone. Could that be something that's happened? So, it's a bit of a question, but it's very rugged. Lots of woodland, mountains. It's a very rugged place, Durango in Colorado. And the weather at that point at night time would go well below freezing. So the time's getting on now. So the actual community themselves, they sound like a bunch of lovely people. I'm not going to lie. I'm really not, because it just sounds very close-knit. I think in a high population city, I don't think you would get anywhere near as quick and coordinated searchers out there. But they were out, and they were out in force looking for Dylan. There was actually a man called Roy Vreeland, and he was the search coordinator. They even had a search coordinator to tell people where they should go, where they should look. You go here, you go there. All brought in very, very quickly to look for this boy. The one person who was noticed that wasn't out looking for Dylan was Mark. Now, he's been with you less than 24 hours. He's now gone missing, and you're not out looking for him. it was a question. It would be a question of mine. I don't think it's, unfair to think, why aren't you out looking for your son, especially as you are solely responsible for him while he's in your care. So yeah, it was questionable. Then what was noticed throughout that evening, as they're getting into obviously the later hours and then into the early hours, they noticed that not only Mark hadn't come out to help anyone, he hadn't come out in this search effort, he turned all his lights off in his house like he'd gone to bed. Now you might be like, well, that's messed up in its own right. But also they say to leave all your lights on. To be, to light your house up like a beacon. So if your child's lost, your house is going to stand out, that they'll be able to find their way home. In the city, again, it's all very well lit up anyway for the most part. But in these rural towns, it would be, the houses would be more spread apart and stuff. So to have your house brightly lit up is a must. And all the lights were off. He was nowhere to be seen. So very early on, people are like, feeling a bit uncomfortable about this. But don't forget, they've all known this guy and the family a long time. So it's like, what's going on? So over the next few days, hundreds of people volunteer in this search for Dylan. Hundreds of them. Water, mountains, everywhere. The one thing though, they could only go to certain parts of around the mountain because the mountains were closed for the winter. So there was a question like, would he have gone up there? They're closed, they're dangerous, bears, the whole shebang. He shouldn't really be up there. So what it is, Mark tells the police that Dylan loves fishing, okay? And he urges the police team and the volunteers all to search a lake by the name of, it's the Mountain Lake Dam, which is not far from the house. And he encourages them that way because he says that Dylan's fishing pole's missing. So he must have gone fishing. And of course, with Dylan arranging to meet his friend the next day at 6:30, would suggest that maybe he was going to go fishing. That was his plan. So, that was the route that these searches were going. Another woman called Kathy Barry, who was a family friend, also volunteer. She began a Facebook page, and everyone in this town is just trying their best to find this lad. He's 13, it's freezing, it's the middle of winter. They're all very, very concerned. So except one person, it would seem. Mark's just not out there. He's not out there. He's answering questions. He's cooperative with the police. He's answering everything they're asking him, but he's not helping with the search of his son, which is very odd. And people start looking. They start asking questions like, what is going on? By this point, Elaine and Corey have made it. Don't forget, they know all these people in the town too. So she actually says that even though she was trying to keep hope, which of course you would want to keep as much hope alive as possible, she had a feeling even that early on that this wasn't going to end well. And that's his mum. And I hear time and time and time again when I'm doing these stories that the mum in these stories, they always seem to know. Even if their child hasn't been found, even if at that time there's no foul play, no one's suspicious of that, they always just seem to know. And she said she just had a feeling even at that point. So Ryan, obviously Dylan's friend, he was out searching. He says he'd set his alarm that morning of the 19th as they planned when Dylan didn't show. There's footage of Ryan talking to a reporter at the time, and it's very sad because don't forget this lad's only 13 too, and you can see it's while they're all out searching, and you can see it's very emotional. It's very emotional to see. Okay, so they were doing Virgil. I never pronounce it right. Vigils. Is it a vigil? I think I've heard that. Vigils, prayers are being said in church. Times going by. Days going to weeks. We're going into months now. Basically, in this church prayer that was being said for Dylan, in the hope of his safe return, Mark, who's there, he does get up to speak, and he gets up to speak about his son, and how he hopes he'll come back. But then people start to notice that he's talking about his son in the past tense. That's how he's talking about Dylan. And people do pick up on that. He's talking about what a good son he was. And it's questionable. A slip of the tongue can be okay, but he does it a few times. So that's noticed. And Elaine herself, she's looking to Mark for these answers. Did you argue with him? Did you fight the night before? Mark says no. He says everything was fine. And like he said, when he woke up in the morning, Dylan was asleep on the sofa. He went out, he come back, and Dylan was gone. He noticed the fishing pole was gone. And that was it. He just thought he'd gone out I don't suppose to play at 13, but he'd gone out with his friends. But Elaine was like, he would never run away. He would never have run away. Even if they had a row, he'd had a fight with his dad, he would have got in touch with his mum or Corey, his brother, and says, I want to come home or come here. He would have got in touch with them. He was very close to his mum and very, very close to his brother. So Corey himself, though, he's not even trying to be as polite as the surrounding community or even Elaine, who is asking questions. He just straight out was like, what have you done to Dylan? What have you done to him? And to Mark. Mark's like, I haven't done anything to him. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm getting the blame. I don't know what's happening. Like I say, I don't know where he is. I'm as worried as you guys. That was kind of how he was putting it a lot. But there was just no, I've seen the reports of him. There was just no urgency. There was no sense of stress, urgency, emotion that you would expect from a father whose child's missing. A child that he was solely responsible for. Like, it wasn't like there wasn't a there wasn't another parent there that he could share the blame with or the stress with or anything else. It was solely on him. But there was no emotion from him at all. So the sheriffs and the FBI start asking Mark the same question. And when they're asking Mark this question, he starts to blame Elaine. And he's saying she must have done something. Elaine and Corey are blaming Mark. So it's just a finger pointing competition now. It's like, it must have been you. No, it must have been you. This is what's going on. But the reason Mark was more being pinpointed is because, again, I'll say it again, he was the one. Look, Dylan had only been with him 24 hours. There's footage of him getting off the plane. So they know they were together. There's also footage of them at a shop afterwards, walking through the aisles. Again, not really together. But it's a 13-year-old lad with his dad. Maybe it's not, they haven't got that sort of bond that maybe they had when he was younger. So it wasn't mega questionable. But now with Dylan missing, they're looking at things a little bit deeper and a little bit more in depth. And it's like, why were they so, did they appear so fractured on these videos, you know, and trying to read into that a bit more. So, like I say, Dylan had gone to Mark's for Thanksgiving, as I'd said. Now, his maternal nan, so Elaine's mum, was very, very ill. He didn't want to go. He didn't want to go to Mark's. He wanted to stay with his nan because he believed, well, the family believed that this would be her last Thanksgiving that she would have with them as a family. So he hadn't wanted to go anyway. So it was said that even when he got on the plane, he was quite upset. But he knew he was going to see his friends. He knew it was something he had to do because his mum would get in trouble if he didn't go. So he had a lot of, for a 13-year-old, that's a lot on your own shoulders, isn't it? It's like, you know, he doesn't want to go, but he feels like he has to protect his mum. You know, it's a lot going on. So that could be the reason why it was fractured on the footage. We don't know. So the investigation shows Dylan phone stops at 21:46 p.m. Now you might be like, right, okay, so where had he been that day? No. 21:46 p.m. on the 18th. So the night before he's reported missing. Okay, so that's when any contact with anyone else, that stops. So that also stopped the wondering had he run away, because there's no social media contact with any, like his phone stops, there's no contact with anyone after that time. So the police know this isn't a runaway. So they start looking at it as, you know, goes from a missing person investigation at this point now to a homicide investigation. Even though there's no sign of Dylan still, they know it's foul play. It has to be. Okay. And at this point now, 2 months have gone by. Could you imagine being Elaine? And Mark, you know, that's his dad, although he's not showing much concern, let's say. But can you imagine being them? There's footage of Corey, he goes from looking okay in the original footage to looking very bedraggled and, you know, looking like he hasn't slept a lot. You can see the concern in him. You can definitely see the concern in Elaine. But Mark, not so much, really. So Elaine and Corey at this point, they join a protest that, now don't forget, 2 months have gone by, and they join a protest that's being done outside Mark's house. Like, basically protesting, saying, tell us where he is, like placards and everything outside this guy's house. Like, tell us where our son, our brother, our friend, you know, where he is. So this is going on. The police, not the police turn up, the reporters turn up and do an interview again with Corey. And Corey's just, he's openly frustrated. And he's just saying, Mark is not helping us. Where is my brother? He's come here and less than 24 hours later, he's missing. Where is my brother? So you can see the frustration in Corey by this point. So the police and the FBI, they get a search warrant to search Mark's house. They bring in cadaver dogs. The cadaver dogs themselves start barking, which they are trying to do when they come across human remains, or the smell of human remains, should I say. These cadaver dogs also bark at the scent of human remains in Mark's truck. So it's not looking good for Dylan at the moment. Now Mark now says, okay, now the cadaver dogs have seen this, they start to spot blood in the living room as well. on the sofa, on the table, on the rug, and on the floor. There is blood around this living room. And Mark says, well, all right, okay, on that night, we were roughhousing. We were kind of play fighting. But Dylan wasn't hurt, and that was it. That's all I can think of. Mark's girlfriend, who we don't hear a lot about, she comes forward to protect Mark and says, well, Dylan did cut his finger a year beforehand, so that's where the blood's got to come from. Cut his finger, he must have cut it off. For that amount of blood to be all around the living room, how can that be from a cut finger? I question. Sorry, I've just thrown my own in there, but how would that be from a cut finger? So anyway, they do a polygraph. Elaine passes. Mark fails. Okay, so now at this point, Corey has got something to declare and reveal to the police. Okay. Earlier, the year before, okay, so in 2011, Corey and Dylan go to visit with Mark. Okay, so we're going back to 2011, and he's taking them to a baseball game. Okay. So this baseball game's in Cleveland. So the three of them get a hotel and they stop. I'm ever sorry, I got something in my eye. They stop in the same hotel room. All right. Now, what Corey reveals to the police is Dylan, he wanted to do something on the laptop, but Mark had fell asleep. So rather than waking up his dad, he just gets the laptop. Okay. So Corey says that Dylan's face goes pale while he's looking at this laptop. And he goes to Corey, I found something, come with me. So Corey and Dylan go into the bathroom in this bedroom. So they go in the bathroom with Mark's laptop. Okay. So Corey's like, what's going on? What have you found? What's the matter with you? Because, like I say, Dylan had gone pale. He wasn't really talking. It was obvious he'd seen something. So he's like, I've seen some pictures. And Corey's like, okay, show me. So he shows Corey the pictures that he'd just found. I'm trying not to laugh because it's obviously not a funny story at all. We're not that channel. We don't do funny stories, so I'm trying not to laugh. All right? Okay, I can do it. The pictures that they found had actually been deleted, and there was a separate file on the laptop that Dylan, 13 years old, obviously very, very curious, goes into this deleted file, and this is what he shows Corey. And the pictures that they found was of Mark, their dad. You know, a dad that, although Corey didn't particularly look up to that much anymore, Dylan did. He did look up to his dad. Okay, he wasn't his biggest fan after the parents breaking up, but he still looked up to him. And these selfies of Mark, their dad, was he's in front of a mirror. Okay, he's wearing women's underwear. Okay, look, negligee, vest type thing, and a nappy. Okay. But you can notice how he's taking this photo and he's posed. He's posed. All right. I've had someone in my comments say he must have looked pretty. Let me finish. Because like I say, he's posed. But you can notice something round his mouth. Okay, look, spread, smeared, if you will. And what he done, well, what we believe he did, he shot it in the nappy and he was eating it and smearing it round his mouth and posing. Now, I presume it's his. I presume it's his poop. But is it someone else's? I don't know. I don't know what this fetish is. I don't get it. I'm presuming it's a fetish of some sort. But I don't get the fetish myself. And I don't know, are you supposed to do your own poop? Are you supposed to do someone else? So, do you know what? When I knew this case, I spent far too much thinking about it, to be honest, this part. Because I was just very curious as to how does one... How do you come across... How do you enjoy that? I was very confused. Anyway, so this is what the lads came up against, right? So as you can imagine, mortified at seeing their dad in this sort of compromising pictures. There was a few pictures, and yeah, you can see them online. A lot of pictures are blurred, which, to be honest, given the fact of what we do get to see online unfiltered now, it's a bit odd that it is blurred, because we know what it is. We know what it is round his face. It's just the oddest thing. So this is what these lads found. Now, like I say, Corey, being a bit older, he was mortified, of course, but it was Dylan that it really, really affected. 13 years old, hormones all over the place. This man is your king. And all of a sudden, you're seeing your king stood there like a pretty little girl eating poop. But I just don't know how would you reconcile that in your 13-year-old brain. So, of course, it would be a shock to him. So Corey got his phone out, took a couple of pictures of the pictures they'd found on the laptop, came out of the pictures, came out of the laptop, closed it up, and put it back where Mark had left it. So as far as Mark's concerned, no one's seen these, no one knows, but these pictures are now on Corey's phone. Okay, so that's where we are. So on the night of the 19th, okay, on the night of the 18th, should I say, Dylan had messaged Corey, all right, just basically saying that him and Mark were arguing. So he's arguing with his dad. So the fact that he's arguing with his dad, I mean, we do know that about Dylan. I've said it earlier on, you know, he does stand up for himself. He's been known that that's who he is as a person. And what it was is Mark, it must have started very soon after they got back to the house. It has to have. Mark was basically saying that Corey and Elaine, so Dylan's mum and brother, were bad examples to Dylan. You know, they were a bad example, and, you know, his attitude's bad, and it's because he's with his mum and his brother and they're no good, and, you know, and all of this sort of stuff. And what Dylan knew, it was like a red rag, wasn't it? You know, he knows this about his dad. They don't say it for a long time. This was the year before, but he was getting pushed, I suppose you could say, because he dotes on his brother. He dotes on his mum. You know, they're everything to this lad. And here he's got this man who he knows what he does when they're not around. And he's basically saying they're the bad people. They're a bad example to you. They're a bad influence on you. So Dylan had messaged Corey basically saying, look, this is what he's saying about you and Mum. Send me those photos. Now, the question can be thrown up, should Corey have sent them to Dylan? You know, but he did. He did. So Corey sent them, and it does say he sincerely regrets sending them to Dylan. He does. So the family go on Dr. Phil. Alright. It's not where I first saw this, but I have watched the episode. Corey, of course, his disdain and his hatred by now is very obvious to his dad. Very, very obvious. He actually says, I hate you, Mark. I hate you. But the photos are brought out, because of course you're going on Dr. Phil. You, I suppose, have to, everything comes out about you. So these photos, Corey showed to Dr. Phil's team. And these pictures are shown on Dr. Phil. Mortifying, okay? But what Mark says, okay, listen to this for an excuse. You got to stay with me on this. He believed that Elaine and Corey had been going to his home. Now remember, they live 300 miles away, okay? But they'd been going to his house and robbing stuff and messing with stuff and everything else. So what he reckons he did, he doctored them himself. They were Photoshop that he'd done, because Dr. Phil was like, so are you saying that Corey and Elaine Photoshopped these pictures? He's like, no. I took the pictures, but then I Photoshopped the nappy on myself and the poop round my mouth and stuff. No one believed that. No one in their right mind would ever believe that. So he was looking like a bit of a prat. Dr. Phil brought out that obviously Elena took a lie detector and passed it, but that Mark had took one and failed. Mark says, I will take one. I will take a lie detector now. So he was supposed to come back after the show had finished to take this lie detector. He doesn't. And he's on the show sort of the next day, just not in front of the audience, just him and Dr. Phil. And Dr. Phil's like, look, I gave you the chance. This can clear your name. And he's like, I'm not feeling very well, and, you know, it's not the right time for a lie detector and everything else. And you can see Dr. Phil's getting really frustrated. He's like, look, we're trying to find your boy. We're trying to find out what's happened to your son. Why aren't you doing everything that you can possibly do to get your boy back? What's going on? And he's like, it's a very frustrating interview. You know, and you can imagine how frustrated Dr. Phil himself got during the interview. Okay. So at this point, obviously on the show as well, Elaine says that she could feel it. She felt it right from the beginning that Dylan was dead. She could feel it. She always knew that something bad had happened. So the FBI themselves review these Dr. Phil tapes. And they question Mark, because now they've kind of got a motive, because Corey says, look, Dylan knew about those photos. He was the one who found them. We think that's why you did something to him. Mark's like, don't be ridiculous, don't know what you're on about. But the FBI watched this footage, and now they've kind of got a motive as such, because these photos, they're awful. They're not what, you know, I'm not, what's the saying now? Kink shaming, that saying. I'm not doing that, and I'm not trying to, but you know, it's certainly not something you would want people seeing being made public, and certainly not your kids, okay? So Mark's still saying, no, look, I don't know, look, I had nothing to do with it. He was on the sofa, I went out, I came back, he'd gone. That's as far as I know. Look, the fishing pole had gone. I don't know where my son is. I really don't. I want him back as much as everyone else. I don't know why everyone's pointing their fingers at me. So because all of this had happened during the winter months, and like I say, it's very rural, a lot of snow on the mountains and everything else, all the searches had been halted. Like I say, the mountain was closed, but the spring comes now. So he's been missing months and months, this child. So they begin to search again. And around this point, Mark was spotted coming from Middle Mountain Road. Okay? He's spotted coming from there. So the people who spot him are like, right, that's where we need to start this search. Because everyone believes it's him. Everyone believes if he hasn't done something sinister, he's got a hand in it. He knows where his boy is. So they've got dogs, they've got horses, they've got ATVs. And eventually they find a Nike trainer size 7. Okay. It's revealed to be Dylan's. The cadaver dogs then spot bones. Alright. These bones turn out to be Dylan's. But they haven't found his head. Or his skull, should I say. And what Mark believes is, well, just because they've only found, just because they've only found 2% of him, doesn't mean he's dead. Right. Okay. And he's like, they can't prove he's been murdered. So he's talking about his son. You know, Elaine's devastated Corey. You know, it must just be awful. It must just be the worst thing in the world. And there's him going, well, there's only 2% of him found, so it's not all of him, is it? So then Mark comes back and he goes, do you know what as well? I thought he took his fishing pole, but he didn't. I found it in the garage when I moved my ATV or whatever it was out the way, and there was his fishing pole. And the police are like, hang on a minute. So you've had us searching that lake and pointing us in that direction, telling us how much he loved fishing. When Elaine turned up, she was like, actually, he doesn't mind it, but it's not his favourite pastime. But because the fishing pole had gone missing, everyone's focusing on this lake. And the police are also questioning it because they're like, well, we searched that house. That house was searched from top to bottom, including the garage. If that fishing pole had been there, we'd have found it. So it's very, very, very suspicious. I don't know what he thought he was going to gain by saying, I found the fishing pole's turned up. I don't know what he thought he was going to gain from that, but it just made it worse. Now we get to 2015. 3 years later. 3 years. Hikers going up Middle Mountain. They find a skull about a mile away from Dylan's other bones that had been found. And they check and the skull belongs to Dylan. Okay, and what they notice is a fracture above his eye in the skull. So his skull's fractured above the eye. So now they're going after Mark with everything they've got. But we now get to 2017, 5 years later. Alright. They get a new district attorney, okay? They get a new district attorney who says, right, we're going to push forward with this. You know, it's we've got a lot of circumstantial, we've got a lot of actual evidence. We're going to push forward with it, but what we're going to do, we're going to put it in front of a grand jury, and they will decide whether to indict Mark. Goes in front of the grand jury. They're like, yeah. So they indict Mark now. They're like, we're going to go ahead with it. So he's charged with second-degree murder and child abuse. So Mark, there's footage of him online when they pull him up. At this point, don't forget, with 5 years have gone by, he's now like a long-distance lorry driver type job he's got. And it shows when he's pulled over. And he's shocked. He doesn't actually know what he's being charged for or with. It's like he thought he would get away with this. It's like he thought, you know, they haven't got me yet. So what? So he looked genuinely shocked when he was pulled, Mark did. Okay. So, like I say, he believed he was off. He believed he was off the hook. My God. So what it is the charge had to be second degree because they couldn't prove premeditation. And for first degree murder charge, you have to be able to prove premeditation of a crime, basically. And they couldn't do that, so that's why they went for second degree. So it takes till 2021. We're now talking 9 years. 9 years since this 13-year-old boy, he was still just a boy, he was a child, went missing. Okay. And we get to the trial. And the trial's quite heartbreaking. There's, you know, you can see it online, and you've got Elaine on the stand, and it's very, very sad. They play like a voicemail that she'd sent to Dylan on the day that Mark had said he hadn't come home, and it's just her going, "Hey Dylan, please be safe. Mummy's coming to get your son." And she breaks down in the witness box. It's just very, very sad. Now the defence for Mark was Elaine and Corey had blamed him from the beginning. They claim it's an act of revenge. The defence is basically saying that it was down to Corey and Elaine that had started the suspicion of Mark, and it just escalated from there. So that's the defence, basically. But what the prosecution does, of course, them photos are going to show up again, aren't they? Them photos are shown to the jury again on a big projector. And basically the prosecution is saying this is the motive. You know, it was obvious what must have happened. You know, he's tried to insult Corey and Elaine, basically saying they're a bad influence on Dylan, and Dylan's probably been like, right, okay, all right, message Corey, send me them photos coming, he's like, they're a bad influence, what about this? You know, it would seem that that's what's escalated. They brought in a sort of a makeshift living room of all the furniture that was in his house, the sofas, the rug, the table, and the blood that was on them, just basically showing that, you know, this is what happened. They're trying to lay it all out. This is how it happened. Very, very hard to do, obviously, with the fact of how long it took to find Dylan. They couldn't say when the blood was from, though. So again, that's another point for the defence, because they're like, well, they admitted that he'd hurt himself, but like I say, he'd have had to have chopped his, let alone his finger, his whole hand off for the amount of blood that was found, and how it was kind of in separate places. the defense tried to say, and they did get a expert, let's say, to say that it could have been bears that left the puncture mark, the fracture on his skull. But the fact that the other bones were so far away, that didn't play into how a bear would kill somebody. You know, we did a story on bears, didn't we? And although they do tend to hide the parts of a body they may not have eaten yet, it's not miles away. You know, prosecution basically said that the fracture was from Mark. That's who it was. So Mark himself, no remorse, no tears whatsoever throughout the whole trial, says he's innocent through the whole thing. In October 2021, it only took the jury 6 hours to come back with a conviction of guilty for second-degree murder and child abuse. His actual sentence is 48 years. 48 years concurrently for both charges. So basically, he got 48 years for the murder, he got 48 years for the child abuse, but they'll run concurrent, so it's 48 years total. And 5 years parole if he gets out, which I wouldn't believe he'll ever get out. There isn't a death penalty in Colorado, so even if they could have gone for first degree and proved premeditation, there would never have been death penalty anyway. And 48 years, to be honest, this fella ain't getting out. So, you know, I think, again, I always say the American justice system, you know, we have had a couple of cases where there's been a trial and they've only got a few years, 8 years, 9 years here and there, and it's so disappointing. But it's few and far between with the American cases. I notice it's more with the British cases I do that we're always left very disappointed. And with the British cases, it's sort of the opposite way around. It's very few and far between that you'll get maybe a whole life tariff or something. So it's like the opposite way. But yeah, that was the Unsettling Dylan Redwine Story. Oh my God. I just feel very, very sad for the entire family. It's that it took so long, you know, that he hadn't wanted to go. You know, it's just very sad all the way through. You know, Corey himself, or, you know, he's dealing with a lot of guilt at sending the photos that night, knowing how rolled up Dylan actually was, and knowing that he was going to more than likely show his dad what he's got. So, you know, he carries a lot of guilt. It's just very, very sad, very, very sad case. But yes, thank you for joining me. Like I say, that was the Dylan Redwine story. Thank you for joining me. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. live. Tuesdays are my request evening. Thursdays are if I want to bring a story that you might not know, that's not quite as common to you. Or you can join my Patreon at patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. I am on the TikTok as well at the moment. So thank you all so, so much for joining me. And I'm just going to have a little chat with the guys in the live now. And if you'd like to do that too, join us on the live, like I say. How are we all? How are we all doing? Oh, it was a bit... Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Awful. I did notice Phil was like, is it Corey? And I was like, no, it's not. I understand why. Maybe it's the way I was wording it. I was like, no, it's not. It's not him. But that's why I like to tell the stories the way I do, rather than I know a lot of people on YouTube, like on the true crime thing. Thank you, Warwick. Thank you, guys. I know they start like in the first like minute and a half telling you like the crime, or they tell it very quickly, and I don't like to do that because you already start off with the premise that the person's dead, and I like to show their life and what led to it and what it's sort of the beginning, middle, and end of the whole crime, rather than just jumping in and saying, yes, this happened, and, let me tell you how it happened. I just don't see. So when I do notice people going, oh, could it be this, could it be that? I'm like, that's what I like to do. I like to do that. But sometimes, obviously, the wrong person can be under suspicion. But yeah, it was Daddy Dearest, unfortunately, the poop eater, which is crazy. Did you see a message come up then? I'm just checking. Do you know, I've put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and that it doesn't do anything. All the stuff still comes through. I turn off notifications, still comes through. The only way I can stop it is putting it on airplane mode. But if I do that, I mean, I've never tried doing a live on airplane mode, but I did it the other day when I was recording some stuff. Oh, thanks, Kelly. When it's on airplane mode, no one can get in touch with you at all. Look, I mean, I know that's the point, but I mean, not even in an emergency. It's crazy. So I'm not, well, I can't do that too often. So yeah, I never know what to put it on, but how are we all? How are we doing there? Have we all been playing nice in the comments? I'm sure we have. Who've we got? Let me see. And I don't think I messed with my hair too much. I know, oh, thanks, sis. I know Courtney was on about counting the amount of times I messed with my hair. I don't think I did too much. I'm hoping I didn't, because Mum does say I put her off. I put her off when I'm messing with my hair. So, I know she's seen Sharon for a little bit, but I think she had to go. Really? Did I back off the hair? Because, it's looking a little greasy. So I feel I was messing with it a little bit, but I thought I'd have it down. But it's really hot again, isn't it? Still, well, it's not. It's been vile. I don't know what it's like for you, but it's been raining all day and miserable and grey and cold. So the winter's coming. The weekend weren't too bad. I got to admit, I think that was the last of it though, weren't it? I think that was the last of what we can call our summer, which was pants anyway. Like the pails come back. My heating's been kicking on because mine comes on if it goes below a certain temperature, and it's been turning on itself. So we're obviously dropping below. So any heat that had been built up in the house from whenever is gone, and winter's upon us. But I'm not going to lie, I kind of like winter. And you know what I want to tell you all? We've been doing these lives now a year. Woo! We've been at it a year, guys. I started in the September last year. I can't remember the exact date. I know if I go back to the first story I did on here, on my lives, I'd find it. But we've been doing it a year, guys. Can you believe it? So I just want to thank you all. And I know I say most weeks, most episodes. Is it, what would you call it? Lives? Yeah. Most videos. I always thank you, try to remember to thank you all, but I do genuinely want to thank you all for being here and joining me for a whole year. A whole year, twice a week. Well, when did we start the twice a week? After Christmas, was it? But at least once a week, you've all been here, so I just want to say thank you so much. It's very appreciated. Otherwise, I'd just be mumbling to myself now. On the live, there'd be no point. I'd just have to stick to the pre-recorded because there'd be no one here. Oh, thank you, Phil. No, thank you to you guys. I'm so appreciative because, like I say, how would I do it? And it's all my little group, all my little Jess Rose crew, the Rose crew. What did we call ourselves? We didn't call ourselves that, did we? We need to come up with a really cool name. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, you know what? It's been from the beginning. It's been obviously Tiff, Hayley, Warwick, Phil, Kelly, Sharon, Natalie, Ariane. When she was here very early on. I know she watched me previous. Is that everyone from the original group? I think I've got 8. I know Courtney's come and gone. My mum. But I think that's the main group, and I'm just so appreciative. If that's is that a word? But I do, and I know because I say it every week, it might not have the same meaning, but I genuinely do want to say thank you so much. You know, it is so appreciated because to listen to me for over an hour twice a week, don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I really don't. I don't know how you do it, but it's honestly, it doesn't go unnoticed. It really genuinely is so appreciated. Part of me, like I'm on the TikTok, and part of me does pull up that, you know, I'm on YouTube. I'm not on TikTok to kind of go on TikTok. Like, these are all older videos that I'm putting up there. I'm doing it to try and bring them over here to join us. But I don't know if I'd feel a bit sad if it was a whole group of people in there with my originals. I just think, I don't know, I think it might mess up the group a little bit. Do you think? I don't know. I mean, they're not anyway. They're not coming over anyway, so it's neither here nor there. But I was thinking the other day, the Rose Moisters. Look at that. I'm going to have... Do you know what? That's the best one so far, the Rose Moisters. I'm going to have to keep that one. I like that one, Phil. Yeah, I don't know if I'd... What, now, originals will always be... That, yeah, I just don't know. I don't know if I should say it on a live, should I? No, don't really want anyone here. But no, it's not that. It's just, I think we've all got good sense, like the same sense of humour. You know, we all get on very well. I don't know. I feel like it would only take one or two to come in and completely mess the whole group, I think. So I don't know, but yeah, like I say, I am sharing them on TikTok, and it is to get a few over, but more to maybe just watch them once they're up and running rather than coming in on the lives. Is that horrible? That's awful, isn't it? I wouldn't mind if it's just us on the lives and then other people watch. No. And when you have thousands will always be here. Oh, that's very sweet. But yeah, I just want it to be us. I do. I don't know how I'd cope if there was more. I don't know how I'd cope. I think I'd lose it altogether. I think I'd be, especially if I could see things out the corner of my eye. Zoom version 1 night. I think that, Kelly. I think, just shh. Boy, you're shushing me. What did I say? What did I say now? I can't remember. Kelly said do a Zoom version. What had I said before that? We should, I can't remember. So it's gone. I'm probably going to say it again then, because I can't remember what I just said. But, yeah, that would be so cool, Kelly. That would be so cool. We can do that. Stop talking about new watchers. I don't mean, I just mean, do you mean don't talk about them because it's not nice? Am I being mean? I'm not being mean, though. Am I? I don't think I'm being mean. Just saying I like my little rose monsters. No. Oh, am I? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not. I don't like change. I'm not very good with change, as Tiffany will tell you. If it mixed up now, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I really wouldn't, but I don't know. I just more meant that if I could see it out the corner of my eye and they're going, who is this plum? I just don't, I'd be like, I don't know how to cope. But, yeah, we could do a Zoom. That'd be cool. I know we've got I've got a live coming up with Sharon. I've got to admit, I'm a bit nervous about that. But stop making noises from you, mate. Okay, I've moved on now. Yeah, I think the live is going to be... I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking the live would show up on mine and Sharon's. I don't know what I was thinking, somehow. but it will be on Sharon's. So I might then, once we've done that, maybe ask Sharon, can we do one over here? Maybe. But I'm quite excited about that. And yeah, I think we should set up a Zoom, Halloween time or, something. I don't know. I don't know if you didn't want to be seen. I'm not, mind you, we wouldn't, Zoom's not recorded, is it? So it's not like you'd be up on YouTube. I wouldn't be putting you up on YouTube. Oh, okay. Oh, excellent. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, that can... I was just trying to work it out. How would it be seen over here? I don't understand, but that's a good idea too, so we can share it on both channels. That'll be excellent. Do you know what I've noticed tonight? It's been rather quiet. Warwick, what's the matter? You're freaking me out. You're very quiet this evening. Or has he been? Or has he just gone quiet now? He's very quiet this evening. But I'm glad you've come. I'm glad you're here. But you're very quiet. I was fully expecting some sort of comment when I was announcing the pictures that had been found by Dylan Redwine. I was fully expecting something to come up, but it didn't happen. Imagine Derek, I'll about you. Oh, but Virgil. Is it Virgil? Is it Virgil? I don't know if I've heard them say Virgil. I haven't said it right, have I? Is it Is it a vigil? Is it a vigil? Vigil. Is it a vigil? Is it a vid? Is there like a silent D in there? Or is it vigil? Vigil. We can all sit and get pissed. Wow, that I'm on. I'm very on that. I can do that. You might not watch me again afterwards, but we can do that. No, I'm not too bad. I just get a bit louder. Unfortunately, I do get a bit louder. I know, vigil. I'm going to remember now. I've always struggled with that one. I don't know why I write it down, because I know when it comes to it, I'm going to be like, oh, I can't say this word because it never sounds right, does it? Vigil. It never sounds right. But, yeah. But that was a long one, that one, wasn't it? Like, normal, I know we're at normal time, but the story itself was quite long tonight. I wasn't expecting it. But there were so many details. I wanted to make sure you had them all. But Kelly, I'd be definitely up for the Zoom. What about yous? Tiff? I'm sure Tiff would be. And Hayley. What about the lads, Phil, Warwick? Are you interested in doing like a Zoom? It won't be up. We won't put it up. It won't go. I won't put it up on YouTube or anything like that, unless you wanted me to. But no, I wouldn't do that. It could just be we've been chatting for a year and we don't know each other. Well, you know me. You know this one. But yeah, that'd be. I think that'd be really cool. Like a drunken Zoom. A drunken Zoom would be nice. Shame we couldn't do one on here. Like where you could be in the corners. That'd be nice. Instead of just coming up in the chats, I could see us. But I wouldn't even know how to do that. And I'd have to have a big computer, I reckon, by that point, which I haven't got. It's all on the phone still. Never mind. Right, what am I doing Thursday? Did anyone remember that story that I'm avoiding? Tiffany, you asked for it. And Hayley and Warwick. I've got Zoom. You just, it's an app. It's just an app. So if you go on Google, put in Zoom, and then it will allow you to install it. Or is that just a polite way of saying absolutely not? I do not want to spend that much time with you all. What did you say? Gypsy Rose. That's, oh God. I know it sounds horrible. I know it's so mean. I'm so mean. I know I am. But I'll do it. I have been watching some things and reading some. No, I'm going to do it. I'm planning on doing it next Tuesday. That's my plan. I wasn't ready for today, and obviously I'd planned to do this one Thursday, so I knew, in my head I thought I'll do this one I know, so why? I'm going to have to be really empathetic, and it's going to be really hard because I'm like, but I'm sure I can do it. So, yeah, I'll probably do that one next Thursday. This Thursday, I've actually got a couple to choose from for you, but I'll let you know on Thursday for definite which one I'm doing. Is it not? Yes, it is. It is that Gypsy Rose. Well, what did Tiffany say? Oh, she did, yeah. Yeah. As a child, yes. As an adult, I went to say that out loud then. And literally nearly went to say that out loud. I think if you hadn't put the star, I'd have said that. My mind can't read the stars. It's terrible. Yeah, I'm just not a fan at all. But I'll do it. Of course I'll do it. I'll do it. It's a request. I'll do it. I have to do it. But not a fan. Yeah, I bet you did. But my mind, the star threw me off. Because that would have come out. That would have come out my mind. The Gypsy Rose filter. There was a filter. What did it do? What to look like her? No. Oh, tell me. What did it do? Did it have that? No, because she weren't the one, was she? So, what? I don't know what this was. I'm sorry. That was so poor taste. That was terrible. When I do this, it's kind of an erasing. Is that a... One, I haven't heard that. I brush my hair. It's erasing it. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't see that. I've literally just come on TikTok. It's never been... it's just... I had TikTok probably early 2020. It didn't last 2 minutes. I think I said I had to come off it because of the kids and everything else. I never really bothered with it. That's hilarious. That's very, very funny. And I like that someone going to the shop and the other coming back with the change. That's a good one. I'm going to have to keep that one because I'd never heard that one. So that's ace. But no, I didn't see that one. I can't believe there was a filter. That's hilarious. I'm going to have to mention that in it as well. Just because I will. But yeah, I promise I'll do it. I'll aim to do it next Tuesday. Because I know it's got there's a lot in that one. So I presume that's going to be a long one. But yeah, I'm going to let you all go because I have to get these monsters to bed. Oh, did it? Yeah, because hasn't she got like teeny eyes? She's quite got little features, hasn't she? She's kind of like... She's a bit like a mole. Not a mole. Is it a mole? What's that animal? It's not... I don't know what this is. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm trying to make my face small. But, yeah, hasn't she got, like, teeny eyes? She's teeny full stop. I thought so. Yeah, she's teeny. Yeah, she is, isn't she? She's very... I shouldn't... I'm not mocking that because I don't know if that was caused. But, like I say, I know the story and I don't know the intricate parts of it. So, I know the outline, should I say. But yeah, I know she's got... I'm not on TikTok, I'm afraid. Oh, Phil, you weren't a lot. Honestly, I literally joined TikTok. Like I say, I went on there in 2020 when it sort of blew up. And then my son was doing like these little cutesy dances that everyone was doing in lockdown, and I didn't like the comments that were coming through. Bless him, he couldn't read them at the time, but I knew what was coming through. So I took it off. Every device in the house. It didn't last in my house longer. I think it lasted about a month or so, and then it was deleted from everywhere, and I've never looked back. And then my moderator extraordinaire loves the TikTok, and I thought, do you know what? If it gets a few people over here, I'll do it. So all I'm really using it for is to, I don't really watch it either. All I've been using it for is to put my stories up in like little 10-minute segments, so little clips. And Kelly's been lovely enough to like them, and Tiff and Hayley, and it's been quite nice because you do get it takes off a little bit quicker over there, doesn't it? You get like more followers a bit quicker, but to be honest, that's genuinely not what I'm doing. I'm genuinely not. I'm not made for TikTok. I'm not. That's not me. I like my YouTube. I like this setup. I says I don't like change. I'm not one for change. I don't take it very well. So yeah, it's more to bring them over here. But like, come on over here. Come and join us. So that's sort of where it's from. So don't worry, Phil. Don't worry. You're not missing. If you've ever noticed the Facebook Reels or YouTube Shorts, if you've ever noticed them, then that's pretty much TikTok. That's pretty much what it is. It's obviously much bigger, but that's pretty much what it is, to be honest. And yeah, I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not on there for long because I'm a bit of a freak, and if I get caught in a reel or a short or on the odd time in TikTok, that's 6 hours of my day gone. Just gone. Just gone. Don't know where it's gone. Morning's gone to night, or night's gone to morning. The birds are singing. Just time's just gone. It's trickery. It's sorcery is what I'm calling it. It's sorcery. And I tried to avoid it from TikTok, and then it found me. It found me over in YouTube, and yeah, life goes by. You do. Yes, you do. That's why you get on. I think that's why you can clash, but I think that's why you get on so well. You do have a lot of similarities. Yes, you do. But, right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let yous go. I'm going to let yous go. It's been a lovely evening. And yeah, like I say, I'll be back on Thursday with, like I say, I've got a couple. I'm not too sure which one I'm going to do for you. And I do like to wait till the day to put it out and be like, ha, it's the one I've got. So it's jingle time. You lose someone on TikTok because you could be sitting there. That's what I mean. That's what I mean, Kelly. I lose my life. My whole life just got gone in a flash. And you don't even notice it happening. It's like you're on your phone, so the clock's in front of you. But you just don't look at it. It's the like I say, it's sorcery. It's trickery. So but yeah, so if you have watched to here, or you are watching now, if you could go in and just drop a comment and a like on this video, would be amazing. Or if you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. That would be very much appreciated. Or you could just look, comment, and subscribe, guys. Look, comment. Oh, God, not me. Mick got knocked. Mick, get in the way. I don't even know if you've been able to see him tonight. Mick got knocked out the way. Look, let's just move Mick. Look, comment, subscribe, guys. Look, comment, subscribe. And I've been hiding my nails again. I got mocked by Warwick, but yeah, I've been hiding the nails. I can't find the shade I want, so I'm doing quick flashes. But yes, I shall see you all on Thursday. Thank you so much again. Thank you to Tiffany and Hayley and Warwick and Phil, Kelly, Sharon, Courtney, tonight. I don't know if my mum's been in. Natalie, thank you all so much. I don't even know if Natalie was in, but thank you all so much. It's so appreciated. And yes, I will see you all on Thursday. Thank you, guys. Look, comment, subscribe, guys. Look, comment and subscribe. Oh, that wasn't good. That wasn't smooth, was it? Look, comment.